This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the US. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
This is Optimal Work Daily. Will financial success follow you if you do what you love? By Chris Guillebeau of chrisguillebeau.com. I read a lot of personal development books, probably at least 2 a month. Like most books of any kind, each one usually has some things worth learning and some things that aren't valuable to me. If there's one common theme to most of these books, it's that following your passion or doing what you love to do is the most important work that we can focus on in life. According to this thinking, work should involve a number of things you really like to do and are really good at, not simply a series of tasks you do to make a living. So far, so good, right? But sometimes the thinking goes even further. Not only will you feel better about yourself and provide more value to others, you'll also end up making more money. Follow your passion, the thinking goes, and the money will follow. The classic example of the follow your passion straight to the bank idea is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah does what she loves, and she's been enormously well rewarded for it. She was passionate about communicating with women when no one else in broadcasting really cared. Oprah's so good at it, in fact, that her salary in 2007 was estimated at $260 million by Forbes. That's not bad for talking with people on the couch, right? How to be the next Oprah? Not really. You don't really want to be the next Oprah, right? Oprah is cool because she is herself. You want to be the real you, and ideally, you'd like it to help pay some bills along the way. Here's how you become the real you and leverage what you're best at. 1. Get a unique selling proposition, or USP. This is absolutely critical. For the 4 years from 2002 to 2006, my USP was that I lived in the poorest countries in the world and ran a business on the side to support my work. That was pretty cool, and when I spent time with business people in the US or Europe, my introduction usually topped everyone else's. Now I have a new USP. I'm going to every country in the world and starting my own social movement to encourage the spread of unconventional ideas. This new USP may not be as cool as living in Sierra Leone, but it still gets people's attention. What's your USP? 2. Become an expert. The way you become an expert is mostly by saying you are one. The more specific the niche you can nail down, the better. And you can then use that status to extend your expertise to other subjects. 3. Accept that monetization does not mean selling out. Just because someone gets paid to do something doesn't mean they lack principles or integrity. It means that other people value what they do enough that they'll pay for it. This is a good thing, not something to be ashamed of. 4. Follow the path of world domination. Decide to be remarkable, create a vision to change the world, recruit a small army, start doing stuff using the ready, fire, aim method, and eventually scale up. What the critics will say. As you might expect, your critics will tell you that you can't make a living doing what you love. Artists don't make any money. Writers are supposed to be poor, and you should spend at least 40 hours a week working at a quote-unquote real job to support yourself so that you can have a little fun on the side. If you've been living an unconventional life, none of these attitudes will surprise you. When my wife Jolie was a kid, she told everyone that she wanted to be an artist when she grew up. Some people said, okay, and some people said, that's nice. But then someone close to her said that she couldn't work as an artist because she would starve. When she asked what she should do instead, she was told to go into real estate. I have a problem with the idea that artists are destined to be unsuccessful. First of all, many of them are happy with less money and they aren't starving. There are real people in the world who really are starving, but most of them don't read personal development books, and none of them really have the option of going into real estate. Second, a lot of artists do pretty well for themselves. One of Jolie's mentors regularly sells his work for in the $65,000 to $100,000 range per painting. He spent 30 years training to get to this level, although I've told Jolie I'd be happy with 10% of that rate. She's working on it. Finally, the odds of financial success following you as you follow your passion probably depends to a certain degree on what you love. A while back, I picked up a copy of Guitar Hero for the Nintendo Wii. Let me just say that I'm not half bad at it. In fact, the first few days I had it, I didn't do much other than practicing my GNR and Rage Against the Machine riffs. But if playing Guitar Hero became my passion, do you think people would start paying me to pretend to play their favorite 80s rock anthems? It seems a difficult calling to monetize at best. If you love staying in bed all day and not doing anything productive, that's also difficult. Who will pay you to sleep in? How will you create serious income based on a stated goal of being useless to society? If you love hedge funds, on the other hand, it seems fairly easy to expect financial success to follow you as you follow your passion. I don't have any hedge fund readers that I know of yet, but most of us are somewhere in between absolute poverty and extreme wealth. We aren't aspiring Guitar Hero professionals, but we aren't hedge fund owners either. My personal story. In the end, I don't really know if following your passion will produce financial success. It seems that it does for some people, like Oprah, and not always for others, like my friends in Africa or the guy in Best Buy who plays some amazing Guitar Hero. For me, the development of this site is a real-world example that tests the thesis. This year, I'm spending a lot of time doing what I love, traveling and writing. I do a lot of other things too, but I made the decision last December to focus on writing and travel more than anything else. I'm not expecting to get rich from it, but I certainly wouldn't mind if it produced some reliable income at some point in the future. I personally know several bloggers who make more than $100,000 a year, one of them a lot more, but most of them also have their sites cluttered in ads, which I don't want. So we'll wait and see. I'll keep writing, hopefully you'll keep reading, and at some point we'll decide on what the next step is. Which way will it turn out? I really don't know. You just listened to the post titled, Will Financial Success Follow You If You Do What You Love? By Chris Guillebeau of chrisguillebeau.com.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bell. Carvana makes car buying easy. Isn't that right, hun? Dax? Dax?
Sorry, did you know about this 7-day money-back guarantee?
A week to evaluate seat comfiness, you say?
A week of terrain tests? Yeah, I can test the brake pad resistance at variable speeds.
Make sure all the kids' stuff fits nicely.
Make sure our stuff fits nicely.
Oh,
Right. Still need to buy the car. Getting ahead of ourselves here.
Buy your car with Carvana today.
And thank you to Chris. He is a New York Times best-selling author and modern-day explorer. During a lifetime of self-employment that included a 4-year commitment as a volunteer executive in West Africa, he visited every country in the world, that's 193 of them in total, before his 35th birthday, a huge feat, obviously. His first book, The Art of Nonconformity, was translated into more than 30 languages, and then his second book, The $100 Startup, was a New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestseller. It sold more than 700,000 copies worldwide. His newest book, The Money Tree, is all about finding the fortune in your own backyard. You can also check out his daily podcast, Side Hustle School, which is downloaded more than 2 million times a month. So come on by chrisguillebeau.com for a lot more. I have that linked in this episode's description, along with the spelling of Chris's last name. And if you like his style, he writes on a pretty wide range of topics, so you can hear more stories from him on our other podcasts. And to find them, just search for Optimal Living Daily, and then be sure to follow or subscribe depending on where you're listening. But that's going to do it for today on this show. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.